So I've got one final question for you.
Yes.
But feel free to answer it how you feel. Because Frank, as a leader in life, so you're a father, you're a husband, you ran businesses, you got family. Like there's so many aspects in life where you have to be a leader. What are some of the core values that you look to when it comes to leadership of life?
Ooh, far out, Ryan. Good job. Okay, let me think about that on the spot. So I think I look for things that I try and hold myself to first and foremost. So there's certain things that I've kind of over time realized what's really important to me. It's something it's funny. Me and my wife were in a car last week, and I said to her, "What are your life like? What are your values that are important to you?" And she said, "I'm a bit sick at the moment. I probably don't going to answer because I'm not feeling that great. What are yours?" I was like, okay. And so what's really important to me is like, I am really big on transparency. Like I'm really big on transparency. I think why that came to me was because as I got busier and busier and busier, I realized that like if I tell someone a different story or tell it in a different way or hide certain elements, I'm going to get caught out so quickly because I'm going to forget my stories, right?
If not now, eventually.
Yeah, if not now, eventually. And so like, I just was like, I just going to be as transparent. Like there's obviously guardrails. When you're running a business, there's certain things you can't talk about. Like when I was in that 9-month deal process, people in the office would see me stressed. Yeah. They would have no idea why because I can't tell them. But there's certain things. So transparency is really, really big to me. Integrity is so big to me. I say that with probably a little bit of like on my face because there is times in life where I haven't been 100% honest, and those things burn me up because I realize like I'm just doing the wrong thing. And like so, like I say that, not saying that I've done it every minute right for my whole life. These things I think like you have to work on, and like you got to hold yourself to high regard. So integrity for me is like I'm a man of my word. So like, only recently did I have someone who I had to cancel on 3 times to come to a meeting with them, and like burns me up. I never met the person. I never knew the person, but like the idea that I told them I was going to be there and I didn't 3 times, like that kills me. So like, I would think like being true to your word is so important. And so like, and that's like even a muscle I have to stretch these days where like the easy thing to say when someone comes to you and goes, hey, I want you to do X, Y, and Z. For me these days, like, hey, I want you to invest in my business or this thing. And like the easy thing today is like, oh, sure. Like, let me like, and then you almost kick that can down the road, like practicing that, like, hey, if I just graciously say no now, it's actually going to serve them and it's going to serve me. And so like trying at all times to be a man of my word is really important.
Yeah. I agree.
Then what else with a leader? I think for me, a leader needs to be inspirational, and you set the tone and you set the energy of a room. Yeah. And so this was something, again, like I always try and check in with my team to be like, what can I do better? What can I do better? What can I do better? And not because I want them to say, no, you're so great, Frank, you're amazing. Like, I don't care about that. I always try to surround myself with like not yes people. And one of the things that'd be like, is like, I said before, I don't get stressed, but what happens is like my face will show signs of, like, and for everybody listening, not watching right now, I'm scrunching my face. And so because my office, I did have a door in my office, as controversial as that was, but it was all glass. People could see that. And like, I was almost setting the tone. And remember, there's 100 people in this office. We've got multiple of them. I'm setting the tone of the 100 people office with the look on my face. Yeah. And so it's like knowing that you set the energy, you set the tone, is like you have to kind of have, like, it's okay to go through stress. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry. But it's like you have to kind of, as a leader, you have to kind of quickly bounce those things off, and you have to find your people that you can talk these things through so that you can, when you come into that room, you can set your best tone, your best energy. So these days, like if I'm feeling that way, I may not go to the office, because like I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be able to shake this today. I don't want to bring that in. Yeah. So understanding that you have to be the energy is really, really critical. And then the last thing I'll touch on there is like, I'm a big believer in leading from the front. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't think that I can do every role in the business. There is no way I can. We have software engineers, we have marketing gurus, we have all these things that are way more skilled than me. But when it comes to the understanding, I need to know enough to be dangerous. Yeah. So what I saw in my time is I saw people say to me, I'd ask the CEO of a company, what is the tech stack that you guys are running? And they'll be like, oh, I'll have to talk to the engineering team and come back to you. I'm like, you're a tech business. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to know those things. So like for me, like I always want to know, so we started a video production arm of our business, which we recently sold, but we started that 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. And I was like, I need to pick up a camera. I need to know how to turn it on. And I need to hypothetically know how to do a shoot. I'm not going to be the best in the room. I'm not going to be anywhere close. But by knowing it, by knowing the nuance, number one, I can know if someone has done a good job. Yeah. So saying to someone in your business, you've done a good job, is fine. Yeah. To say to someone with around some detail, to say, let me use the video production as an example. Wow, that color grade is epic. Like, how did you get the colors to look so good? Like, how did you get the cuts to look so good? Let me take it to tech. Holy shit, like, how